The Midlands Today Show with Will Faulkner.
Midlands 103.
Well, a little bit of fun for the last part of the programme. We're heading to the circus, and Tara Gerbola is in studio from Circus Gerbola. Morning, Tara.
Good morning. Pleasure to be here. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you, and how is the babby, more importantly?
Yes, our beautiful daughter Isabella, who is now 4 months old, is doing really well, thank God.
Had an interesting arrival.
She sure did, yeah. We were booked into the Coombe. Her due date was around the 5th of January, and we hopped in the car, just thought we'd be at the hospital all night pacing floors, as one does. And
she had other ideas.
She did. She decided to come a bit early, and we had her in the front seat of the family car, and didn't make it to the Coombe.
On a mild night?
Luckily it was. I mean, it just all happened so fast. There was no time really to think about it. She was coming and that was it. And I think my husband broke every speed limit on the way.
Understandably.
And we took the exit off for Blanchardstown, and thinking, we'd make a dash there, knowing that we wouldn't make it to the Coombe. And every turn we went seemed to be the wrong one, and every person we stopped and asked also seemed to be drunk or coming home from a party, so we weren't in luck. But eventually we flagged down a taxi driver, and he brought us directly to the hospital. But at that stage she was born, and it was quite a surreal moment. I mean, we were just lucky, we were blessed that she was all right and everything, but the complications, there was none. And she's beautiful.
And everything is still going well. So that
Great,
was really her first party piece when you think about it.
It was, yeah, in true tradition of the circus, yeah. Our lives are quite dramatic at times, yeah.
Were you born into the circus yourself?
I was, yeah. Well, my family, my dad and mother, they came from touring road shows. A lot of the older listeners there would know what they were, and they were actually travelling theatres, and they would stay in different towns and put on a different play every night.
So where did you call home then when you were growing up?
Well, we always had a base. Although it did change, but it's sort of, in those days the seasons were a lot shorter, and now the seasons are quite longer. But my base as a child growing up was always in Killinard.
Was that before it was posh?
Pardon?
Was that before it was posh?
Yes.
It's got a little bigger over the years.
Yes, it is. It's beautiful. It's a sought after place, all right.
I can't talk, by the way. I lived there for a year and a half.
Oh, you're right. Very good. Yeah, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. And then the advent of television came on, and that sort of style of entertainment went out, really, because television came in, and there was no longer a niche in the market, I suppose, for it. And my father's side of the family, they went into funfair, and my mother's side of the family went into circus. And as a child growing up, I just always loved the circus and always had a call for it. And then I met my husband, and he also comes from a circus background, and we worked for our family's circuses, and it's very much a family orientated business. And we decided to make the bold decision to give it a go ourselves. But before that, we actually stopped circus completely for 1 year, and we got normal jobs. And we said, the grass is always greener on the other side. We thought we might have been missing out something. So we got normal jobs, done that for a year.
Wasn't your cup of tea?
Oh my God, no, we couldn't. I mean, after the first month, we knew it wasn't for us. And we said, listen, we're not going back working for somebody else. What do we do? And we sort of said, it was never our intention or a dream of ours to ever, start a circus, but that's just the way it panned out. And
but we as punters see the glamorous side of it, the performance and the showmanship and all of that.
Yeah.
Which looks appealing.
Yeah.
But you're on the road quite a lot.
Yeah,
and
from
you're
February
setting
to
up
October, and it's a long tour. It's quite intensive, but we're very blessed. We have a great crew. And great people who are passionate about what they do, and that's really the battle. That's really half your battle. It's a tough business. It's a very hard business and very high overheads. People don't realise.
Where would most of your costs come from?
Well, obviously ground rents would be a priority. Diesel, the way diesel is ludicrous, and insurance, wages, all the other thing. And then it's a seasonal business. So we don't operate from November, December, January. So, I mean, because of weather, obviously, and all of that, and because of the touring, the constant touring, the length and breadth of the country, the maintenance is quite hard to stay on top of, and so you're just constantly, doing that. But I mean, it's the same in any other business. But I mean, on the other side of the coin, then, we're very fortunate to be able to do what we want to do. I mean, most people, are in their jobs. I'd say a huge proportion must be, just because they have to pay the mortgage. We're lucky we can do what we enjoy doing and love what we do.
Recruitment must be a challenge, though, because say in this business I can advertise for a radio presenter or a journalist, whatever.
Exactly. It is. It's a huge problem for us. I mean, you can't go down to Foss and just, can I have a trapeze artist or a juggler, please? I mean, they're just not there. And
how do those people themselves qualify to do what they do?
Well, a lot of it, it's sort of a new age now, actually. The interest in circus is phenomenal. And in Ireland, unfortunately, the Arts Council haven't provided one yet, but they're trying to, is to develop a space where people can go and learn circus skills. Now, in England, they have, and all over the world, they have circus schools. For instance, one of our artists this year, she is a former astrophysicist, trained for 8 years to become one, and decided she didn't want to do that anymore. So
you couldn't find two careers more polar opposite.
It's
really,
unbelievable. It's and to us, it's more fascinating. For me, as a person growing up in the circus, it's what I've always done and what I know best. But for somebody outside of it to come into it, for us it's quite fascinating, and she loves it. This is her second year with us, but she trained to be an astrophysicist, decided it wasn't for her, decided to go to a circus school in London called Circus Base, study there for 3 years, and now she's our ring mistress and aerial cloud swing artist. And, we held auditions about 2 years ago. We're looking for fresh people to come into it, actually, and new ways of thinking, people that can offer more than just, doing their act, people that have, good dance backgrounds, theatre backgrounds. And she was one of them, and another lady as well by the name of Abigail Evans. She auditioned for us as well, and they're with us now, 2 years running. So we will hold auditions again this year, because it was hugely successful, and the response we got from not so much Ireland, but in particular abroad, and we held auditions in Bristol, in England there at another circus space. But hopefully, the Arts Council will get together, because and provide a space for people so that they can actually do it. It's one thing an audience member coming to the circus and, they have a look and they think, oh, it's great, and God, I'd love to be able to do that, and it's so easy. But if they actually want to go and do it, they have to go abroad, So it's opened up a lot of doors.
Yeah, it's a rare discipline,
really is.
then.
Yeah, it is. And it's, you have to be very dedicated to it.
What about the routines? Because we've had, say, the likes of Keith Barry or Neil Delamere here in studio recently, and they would talk about how they have to always rejig it on every tour so they present something fresh and new. Do you have to do the same thing?
Exactly, yeah, we do. Every year it's the same. A lot of it is, as I said, down to the people and how versatile and flexible they are. And, once you have that, you can work a lot with that. Our director, we have a director that comes over every year for the last 3 years, Helen Crocker, who's very well respected in England. And she comes over and, a lot of planning goes into it, into the people that we employ, what their limits are, what their skill level is, all of that. And then we would hire traditional circus artists, and they come either from agencies or direct through email and DVDs and all the rest. And then, we sort of, it's not just about what they can do, it's also about the people that they are, because, it's a community. And that community actually moves from town to town, from city to city. And, like in anything, in any office situation, if you have one person that isn't playing ball, it upsets everybody. But, the last few years we've been just so lucky. We have just had great people who are dedicated and passionate about what they do.
But it sounds like you could have a combustible situation where people are living in each other's pockets day in and day out.
Well, I think everybody sort of knows their limits. I mean, for myself and my husband, it's a different scenario. It definitely definitely feels like that. You know, we have an office there, but not, you know, a lot of the stuff would happen in our home, and then that infringes on our family life. But for us, it definitely is like that. But for everybody else, they sort of know their own limits, and they sort of, you know, okay, it's my space time now, because it is a group, you know, and they do 2 performances every day, you know, and that in itself, of course, I mean, there are little things that have to be ironed out from time to time. But people are reasonable, you know, and can see not every day can be a good day, as we all know. And because we're living in that environment, you sort of get to know people a hell of a lot better than you would in a normal situation. So, yeah, there is a huge understanding, I suppose, amongst us all, you know, and it can be shown, you know. And if there's any problems, we just sit down and talk about them and sort them out, and it has to be done like that.
Just a quick point on the future. You already mentioned the effect of television some years ago, and now you have PlayStations and you've countless distractions, and people maybe don't view the circus in the same way as they used to. So will there always be a space for the circus?
Always. The circus is one of the oldest traditional art forms, and it's been around for hundreds of years, and it will always continue to be so, because there'll always be a place for live entertainment. You know, there'll always be. My kids have DSs and the Wiis and all the rest, but you know, you probably will always remember bringing your kid to the circus and the memory of that. You know, that's what you're giving them, actually. You know, you're giving them that memory and you're passing it down. There will always be a place for live entertainment, 100%.
It's a bit of an oasis away from doom and gloom as well.
It's a you know, and it's very affordable. You know, it's affordable these days. I mean, we've prices from €8 onwards. Do you know what I mean? It's a great bit of fun. It's a great bit of crack. We're in Portarlington at the moment. I used to go to school there.
Which school?
Well, it's changed now. It used to be the Nuns when I went to school there, when I was doing my Leaving Cert. But some of my school friends were down there last night, you know, and it was great just seeing them and chatting to them and all the rest, and see where they went with their lives, you know.
And how long will you be in Port?
We're just yesterday and today, and then we moved to Portlaoise, and then we moved to Clontarf in Dublin for 2 weeks.
Where is home now, by the way?
Home, we're based in Navan in County Meath, and that's our winter quarter base. So at the end of the year and at the start of the year, we sort of group up there, and that's where our kids go to school. And we've a fabulous on-tour scheme, actually, for our children. We've 2 boys and little Isabella, but my little boy is 7, so he's in first class now, and we've a system with the Department of Education whereby a teacher will come out 3 days a week, and it's one-on-one tuition.
Very
so
good.
it means, you know, that my kids will, you know, be educated. You know, a lot
It gives
of people,
you that flexibility.
It does, yeah, it does, and it means also when they go back to the base school in Navan, it's sort of they're ahead. They're actually ahead because they have one-on-one tuition, you know, which is fantastic, you know.
Tara, I've enjoyed our conversation. It's nearly 12 noon, so thank you so much for coming into
Pleasure,
it.
a pleasure
Business
indeed.
remains strong.
That's it. Don't miss us in Portlaoise and Portarlington.